Dak Prescott is officially back for the Dallas Cowboys. What will the offense look like in Week 7? All that and more in this episode of the Locked On Cowboys podcast.
You are Locked On Cowboys, your daily Dallas Cowboys podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Locked On Cowboys.
Welcome back to the Locked On Cowboys podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. We'd like to thank you for making us your first listen of the day. We are free and available on all platforms. Today's episode is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline has you covered this season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before. BetOnline, where the game starts. I am Marcus Mosher. You can follow me on Twitter at Marcus_Mosher. He is Landon McCool. Check him out on Twitter at McCoolBCB. Landon, how's it going, sir?
It's great, man. It's Friday. Dak is back. We're playing the Lions this weekend. I'm excited to talk about it. Yeah, it's a great day. Hoping that we're going to get into the weekend with the good one.
Yeah, let's jump right into this matchup. Dak Prescott officially back. He said that he's going to start in Week 7, and Mike McCarthy basically confirmed that this afternoon. My question to you is, what do you expect the offense to look like in Dak's first game back? Do you think they're going to be a little bit more conservative? Maybe limit the number of throws that he has?
I thought your first question was going to be like, can he beat out Cooper Rush to be the starting quarterback this weekend?
It's possible.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think, this couldn't have been drawn up better for the Cowboys. I mean, I guess, if they wanted him to come back last week, he made it sound like during the game, that was the first time where he felt like, man, I probably could have stepped in and done some stuff. But, look, you don't want to take the loss in Philly, but outside of that, this is a perfect set of games for Dak to be coming back, right? He's got a game against the Lions where they have, a defense that's been struggling, a game against the Bears that, the defense hasn't been struggling as much there, but their offense has been so poor that they can't score points. So you're not putting a ton of pressure on the offense to score a bunch of points. And then they have the bye week. So to me, I think it should be kind of a slow rollback because they can afford it. They've been leaning heavily on the run game. There's no reason to stop that now. I think the difference really is just that, what third downs are going to look like, hopefully, right? Like when it comes to third down, and if it's 3rd and 6, you have a lot more confidence when it's Dak Prescott in the back, in the pocket than there was with Cooper Rush. So I'm hoping for a very kind of similar game plan, maybe maybe a couple more shots downfield than what you would have had with Cooper Rush, just because the progression will take you there, and Dak will probably feel free to let it go in a way that Cooper Rush wouldn't necessarily feel comfortable. But I would say that for the most part, especially considering the opponent, that the Cowboys will probably have a very similar game plan, just hopefully with different and better results, specifically in passing. It's obvious passing situations, and even more specifically on third down.
Yeah, I would love to see the Cowboys basically utilize the same game plan that they had against like the Bengals in Week 2, right? Like when you do take shots over the middle of the field, make sure you have 7 blockers in so Dak can step up and make a throw. And if it's not there, he has an outlet. I mean, I don't want to say treat him like a rookie quarterback, but in some ways treat him like a young quarterback. Like just make the game plan really simple. And as we get into the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th quarter, he starts to feel comfortable in the pocket. That's when he can start letting things rip because, listen, I do think the running game and I think the defense should at least keep you competitive in this one and see what it looks like by the time we get midway through the 3rd quarter. I think we'll have a better feel as to how Dak is playing.
This is a game that the Cowboys could win with Cooper Rush. You know what I'm saying? So don't in the same way that during the week, the Cowboys have to protect Dak Prescott from himself, right? Like not putting him on the field because when he's not ready, because he's going to want to try to go out their way before he's ready. I think the Cowboys need to protect Dak Prescott in the early part of this game because he's going to be hyped, man. He's going to be excited. He's going to get out there. And what you don't want is him to be too hyped, too excited. Get him in some rhythm throws. Get some
easy throws,
going.
Layup throws, right?
That's right. Get some slants. Get some designed plays where you're going to CeeDee Lamb specifically, where you've created space for him underneath. Get some normal like rhythm throws out of the way first, and then really lean on the run game. If you get into the second half and it has to become a passing game, then you start unleashing Dak a little bit more. But I think if you kind of restrain him a little bit, just kind of keep him back, just to kind of help him get into the rhythm of the game and not get overhyped, that's when Dak really starts to shine, is when he's able to get into the rhythm of it, not get overexcited, not, overthrowing guys. Once he's settled in, he's one of the best quarterbacks in football. So help facilitate that with your play calling.
This is also a game the Cowboys should be able to run the crap out of the ball. Like the Lions have been awful against the run. Seems like they're going to have some more guys in the defensive line missing. I don't think Charles Harris, their other defensive end, is going to play.
Doesn't sound like he's going to make it.
No. They just put a defensive tackle on the injured reserve list, even though he hadn't played yet this year. Like, they're pretty decimated up front. And I've got a feeling, because of the weapons that the Cowboys have in the passing game and because it's Dak, you're going to see the Lions play some off coverage and just have the Cowboys try to run the ball. So a lot of ball control in this game. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world, Landon, if this game is 10-10 going into halftime and Dak hasn't thrown an interception yet, but they haven't really unleashed him either. Like, just keep this game close and then get to the third, fourth quarter and let kind of the talent eventually start to win out.
The gravity of your talent should win this game. I mean, that's what I was trying to say by Cooper Rush hopefully winning this game, is that the run game that you possess and the defense that you possess should be enough to win this game with Cooper Rush at quarterback. So adding Dak in should obviously take that well over the top, but you don't have to over rely on Dak. And I think over reliance on Dak is going to promote a situation where he's pressing, again, he's just coming back from this, and this is not a good time for that. It's time. It's time for him to get back into the rhythm of the NFL speed, and make things as simple as possible. I totally agree with he's not a rookie, but a rookie game plan would help a veteran quarterback who's coming back from a thumb injury kind of get into the rhythm of the game a lot quicker.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Detroit's defensive line kind of going into this game, Michael Brockers is their best interior guy. He's 32 now, and he's kind of struggled this year. Isaiah Buggs was a guy that Pittsburgh cut off their practice squad. He's starting at nose tackle. Ali McNeil has been not great. And that's the three interior guys that they play in their 3-4. Like, it's been pretty rough. This is a game I think Tony Pollard needs to dominate this one. Like, there's just not a lot of team speed for the Lions. I think Pollard getting 12 to 14 touches in this one is almost a must.
They've got problems all over this defense. Like, it really, outside of Hutchinson, they just don't have any talent on that defense. And, even if they play off early in the game because they're afraid of Dak to allow the run game, if they push everything into the box, then they're really going to have problems, man, because their secondary, as bad as their defensive line is, their secondary is worse.
They are playing
please. No.
Will Harris is a safety that they've moved the cornerback because of the injury. They had Savion Smith, who Cowboy fans should know. He got injured in the last game. Amani Ojawari, I believe is how you say his last name. He had a really good season last year. He's been a healthy scratch because he's been so bad. Like, they are just decimated in the secondary right now. Tracy Walker, their best safety, out for the season with an Achilles tear.
One of their best players. I mean, one of their best defensive players, without a doubt. And Okudah has been better this year. He's played well. He's not a guy that you necessarily are going to pick on, especially since there's so many other choices all across that secondary. So, but
you can if you want to. It's not a it's still a plus matchup for CeeDee Lamb on the outside.
Yeah, and so that's the thing, right? Is that the Cowboys, I mean, they match up just fine against this Detroit defense. They should be able to do what they need to win the game, and the defense certainly shouldn't be giving them a ton of trouble outside of trouble that's produced by the Cowboys themselves.
This is just a game I would love to see the Cowboys dominate in the line of scrimmage. Like, if you can get out of this game with Dak throwing the ball 22 times, that's awesome. And of those 22 ones, are like 11 are just designed layups. That's fantastic. That's the way the Cowboys should try to win this game. Let's talk about the defense, which is going to have a little bit of a harder task in this one. Yeah. But before we do that, we want to tell you about Simply Safe. All right, here are my three favorite things: football, and saving money. So let's talk about how you could save big money right now with Simply Safe Home Security. They are offering Locked On Cowboy listeners 40% off their advanced security system. Simply Safe was just named the best home security of 2022 by U.S. News. They love it. We love it. you'll love it because it's Simply Safe. Safety is the only thing that matters. They have professional 24/7 monitoring. When a threat is detected, Simply Safe's monitoring professionals promptly contact you and dispatch first responders to your home, even if you're away or unable to respond. It costs under $1 a day. Again, $1 a day to protect your house. There's just no better value than that. Don't miss this chance to save big when you protect your home with the absolute best. Get 40% off your order when you visit simplysafe.com/lockedonnfl today. Customize the perfect system for your home in just a few minutes. That is simplysafe.com/lockedonnfl. There is no safe like Simply Safe. All right, let's talk about the Cowboys defense. The Lions offense has been outstanding this year.
Yes,
I believe they're second in points per game. They are going to get DeAndre Swift back. Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to play. How do you think the Cowboys match up in this one?
It's gonna be a tough matchup. I mean, I think that they run the football extremely well. I think that the Cowboys' defensive run stopping woes have been blown out of proportion to a large degree, especially compared to what they did with the Eagles. The Eagles ran for 136 yards, but it was on like 36 carries or something like that. So they're not like, it's not like the Cowboys are giving up huge chunks of ground per rush. And so I do think that the Lions are smart, and they say what you will about the composition of the team. I really love the coaching staff, right? I think they completely understand what they have in this team. They understand their team extremely well. And I think that they know that the strength of this team is the offensive line. And they're going to try to run downhill on us. And they're going to mix up Swift. They're going to mix in Williams. They're going to kind of create their own thunder and lightning situation. And then they're going to create play action pass situations that obviously Jared Goff is going to be comfortable with, throwing to Reynolds, throwing to St. Brown, throwing to Hockenson. But I would imagine that the game is going to be for the Detroit offense won or lost on their ability to run the football and kind of maintain a balanced offense. Because, look, I mean, the Lions are they're a good balanced offense. They've obviously scored a lot of points. They do not want to get one-dimensional, and they really don't want to get one-dimensional against the Cowboys defense. So I think that they're going to try to continue to run the football, no matter what. And I would not be surprised if they stuck with it well past, when all of us would feel comfortable the Cowboys running the football. Because their coaches know that they just cannot get into a situation where this is a throwing game with Jared Goff versus the Cowboys defense and Dak Prescott versus the Detroit Lions defense.
Jared Goff has played unbelievably well this season outside of the game against the Patriots. And one of the reasons why is their offensive line has been really good. The two tackles, Taylor Decker, Penei Sewell, have been awesome. Frank Ragnow is back, their center. Like, when they're completely healthy on the offensive line, you can't get a lot of pressure on Goff, but when you do, that's when mistakes happen. So if the Cowboys can generate pressure, whether it's through stunts, whether it's through players just winning one-on-one matchups, that's how the Cowboys dominate this game on defense. But if guys just aren't winning and the Lions are able to control the line of scrimmage, get to third and short, or just avoid third down altogether, I could see this being like a game where the Lions put up 24 points and all of a sudden you're wondering, hey, how did we lose to the Lions? I thought this was a winnable game for the Cowboys. That's what Dallas has to avoid.
Yeah, the Cowboys defense has got to make the Detroit Lions offense desperate. You cannot allow them to continue. And really, the Cowboys offense has got to help with that. Yeah, they need to kind of they need to score some points consistently. They need to have longer drives. Again, that kind of points back to running the football, having some stability, and making sure that you're maintaining these drives. And put you want to put the Lions in a bad position, and I think that it's not terribly difficult, especially with the defense that you're playing. And it feels like the one difficult task that the Cowboys have on either side of the football in this game. Well, I'll say two. I think the special teams for the Detroit Lions are very solid. So they need to be careful there. And then the other thing is that they need to stop the run on the Cowboys need to stop the run on defense, because if the Lions' only path to victory, really, I could see that's consistent, is if they are able to maintain a run game. If they're able to maintain
drives, right? Like 8-minute drives where they're punching it in at the end and it's, hey, they started the game off with the ball, and the Cowboys get it for the first time with 5 minutes left to go in the first quarter.
It's hard to win against a team that is a solid run team that doesn't give up the football. Now,
right.
Jared Goff will give up the football if
you have to pressure him.
But you have to pressure him. You got to get him to throw the football, and getting him to throw the football in a situation where you will pressure him requires you stopping the run, because otherwise he'll be bootlegging, he'll be doing play action, he'll get the ball out quick.
He's very accurate too. Like when you give him time and it's simple reads, like he's going to put the ball in the money. You're right. You've got to get him in situations where, hey, it's 3rd and 11 and he's got to throw the ball beyond the sticks. That's when you could have success.
If this was a flag football game, I would be more concerned about Jared Goff,
because
if you give him the opportunity to throw from a clean pocket, he can do it. So the Cowboys just have to remove that opportunity. And in order to do that, that means they got to stop the run to the point where you're forcing them into bad third downs and forcing them into throwing into the teeth of the defense, which, again, they don't want to do.
Yeah. So what's tough in this game, the Lions are likely going to be without DJ Chark, obviously Jamison Williams. So they don't really have a lot of long speed. It's everything in the middle of the field between Amon-Ra St. Brown in the slot, TJ Hawkinson, who's still a really dynamic weapon at tight end, and then DeAndre Swift. Like, all of their actions going to happen in the middle of the field, and that's where the Cowboys have gotten exposed a little bit. So I don't expect the Lions to take very many shots down the field. So it's going to be, can you take away some of the underneath throws, and can you tackle? If the Cowboys are missing tackles in this game, they're probably going to lose.
Yeah, without a deep threat, it's hard, man. Like, I just think that the Cowboys are going to be able to flood the zones in the middle of the field a lot better than they would against other teams that have like serious threats on the outside. So
you can see the vision for the Lions, though. By the way, like, you could see why they traded up for Jamison Williams and they signed DJ.
Oh, totally,
Chark, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, it makes. I mean, this is going to be a dangerous team next year.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they get Jamison Williams back, they get Chark back, they add a couple of strong pieces to their defense. I like the way this team is being built. I like the coaching staff. I have confidence in the Lions in the future in a way that I haven't for that franchise in a long time.
Yeah.
They're not quite there yet, though. And the Cowboys are the more talented team, and they should win this game. But again, it's the NFL. They still have some tough tasks ahead of them. And the tough task this week, again, is stopping them from running football.
All right, let's make our final predictions for this game. But before we do that, we want to tell you about BetOnline. BetOnline.net is your number one source for all of your football and basketball betting that's going on right now. Find all the latest player developments, team matchups, news, podcasts, and in-depth analysis on every single game. And as always, BetOnline remains your continued source for all of your sports wagering information, with live betting and up-to-the-minute scores for every single sport out there. It is the fastest and the easiest way to check in on all of your favorite games and events, including NFL, NBA, MLB, MMA, boxing, and golf. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more. Bet online, where the game starts. All right, Landon, who do you have winning this game and why?
I'm picking the Cowboys. I think it's going to be. I think on this morning on the WFAA hit, like I think I picked 34-24. I imagine that the game's going to be closer than that for most of the game, and I think the Cowboys will probably score late and to kind of pull away. I think your prediction that it could be a 10-10 game at halftime makes a lot of sense. I just think I think if I had to guess, the feel of this game is the Cowboys are dominating on both sides of the ball, but maybe not scoring at a rate that reflects that. Well.
Yeah.
But by the third quarter, by the fourth quarter, the Cowboys' talent starts to pull this game away from the Lions, and they win it handedly at the end. But I would not at all be surprised if you're sweating for three quarters, maybe not sweating, but like you're looking at the scoreboard going, I wish it was a little bit further apart, while watching the field and realizing that the Cowboys had full control of this game from mostly start to finish.
Yeah, I get that same sense. I worry that it's going to feel like this field is tilted, right? Where the Lions are just running downhill the whole time. It seems like they're always at the 50-yard line or across the 50-yard line. It's going to be up to the defense to either get stops on fourth down, it stops at the red zone. I just get the sense it's going to be very close going into the fourth quarter. I'm going to pick the Cowboys to win. I know I haven't done that about 2018.
Are you allowed to do that?
Yeah, I
honestly?
think I'm going to say 23-21.
Okay.
This is going to be a closer game than I think a lot of people anticipate. I know the spread is 7 or 6.5 now. It's good. I don't know if we can expect Dak to be full, completely Dak Prescott in his first game back. So I think we'll get a close game. Maybe he'll have a turnover or two as he kind of shakes off the rust. But I am going to pick the Cowboys to win.
Good. Oh, good. That seems ominous. Honestly, it seems a little scary that you're picking the Cowboys to win. Yeah. But
if the Cowboys lose this game, I'm never picking them again.
Yeah, never again. And honestly, if they can overcome you picking them to win, then frankly, they can overcome anything.
Yeah. So these are two big games for the Cowboys coming up against the Lions and Bears. Both of them they should win. If you get wins there, you get to 6-2 in your bye week. I think you're feeling really, really good about how the season's gone. But if you drop a game at home against the Lions and you struggle against the Bears, I think we're then wondering, like, okay, is this team good but not great? Are they, is it still a lock to make the playoffs? It's an important game.
They need to show themselves that they can get it together, especially on offense.
They need a dominant win. They haven't really had one yet, right? One where they just control from the first play of the game to the end. And I mean, listen, you have a backup quarterback, you can't expect that, but this is one they need to have.
These are this week and next week are two teams that are not great football teams right now. The Cowboys are clearly better talent-wise. They need to win both these games, and one of them it feels like they need to have like a handed win, a
17-point win.
Yeah, because it's just if only just to get the confidence in yourself again, especially on offense, just because we have not seen a fantastic offensive performance yet this season because Dak's been injured. So I think it's really important that we see some version of a clicking Dallas offense in the next two games, just so we can go into the bye week and feel confident about where we look at the second half of the season.
I want to see the defense dominate this game.
We saw some quotes they should.
They should. We saw some quotes from Leighton Vander Esch how they were ticked off the way the game went last week. I want them to just come out of the gate completely dominant, like they did against the Rams. Like, let's get 2 turnovers to start the game off right and put the Lions away before they can even have any hope. Like, that's if you're going to be an elite defense,
exactly.
These
that's
are the
what I was just going to say.
Yeah,
that's
you need to dominate these kind of games.
You elite defenses, they feast on lesser than opponents. They don't just let them hang around.
Yep.
Let's end these guys early and put them away early, and then you don't have to worry about Dak throwing the football. You can run the ball to run it out. Dak can throw it when he needs to. He can be more judicious. It's just going to be an easier path for the Cowboys if they can figure out a way to, go back to the Rams game. Like, let's use that as the template, right? Get some turnovers early, get some early points, and then just run all over these guys until they say uncle.
All right, that is it for today's show. Thank you for making Locked On Cowboys your first listen every day. Now make your second listen, the Peacock and Williamson NFL show. Brian Peacock and former NFL scout Matt Williamson give you the expert NFL analysis in less than 30 minutes. It's free and available wherever you get your podcasts, all the same places that you download the Locked On Cowboys podcast. Check us out over on YouTube. Please subscribe to the show there. Follow Landon on Twitter at McCoolBCB. I am at Marcus_Mosher. We'll be back sometime after the game. I don't know, Sunday, Monday yet, to break it all down. Enjoy week 7. We'll see you guys next time.